So Arsenal 0, Newcastle 0. Good game, I suppose, to watch on TV, especially for the first 20 minutes. After that, it was kind of defense against attack, Kenny. Kenny's gone already. He's had enough. But it was he's back. It was defense against attack after that kind of 20 minutes. But the ref, I'm not going to blame referees, Kenny. Yeah, that first 15, 20 minutes, we should have been clear anyway. We should have been out of sight. We weren't clinical enough. We should have took our chances. But after that first initial 20 minutes, for me watching on TV, stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. He was blowing, he was card happy. He booked Odegaard for a pull. I think it was on Joe Linton. But then we don't get a penalty for Gabriel's shirt nearly being taken off his back. Penalty at the end. Fans are going to sit there and say we were robbed. We didn't deserve to win that game. Newcastle was superb as well. Let's not forget that. Two best defences in the league. What was the general feeling at the ground? And what did you make of it, mate?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. The general feeling is that the fans are very angry with the referee. I think they feel that Newcastle played the referee like a piano and he kind of fell for it. I think the first two, Newcastle got the first two yellow cards of the game. And afterwards, players like Almiron, Joe, Guimaraes, Byrne, but it was kind of like evening it out. And I think the referee evened it out. But you've got to remember one thing, right? Everyone looks at Newcastle and they look at the silky players they bought. They came to fight. They came to fight here, mate. That's what we get taught as kids when we play the football. Fight for every decision. Fight for every decision. I fought for every decision. There were a few decisions where the referee could have turned his back and not given, a yellow card to Odegaard. But, Newcastle players fought for that decision. They went straight in the referee's face. Referee took his time, ran away, and then he pulled a yellow card down. That was for a couple of their players. So I think that's one of the things that, other teams are going to do is, teams are going to have a boo pin to play against us. Only teams like Newcastle with enough quality and, in terms of like the athleticism, are going to be able to sustain that for 90 minutes. And I think, as you said, first 15 minutes was sensational. I thought we were sensational. But, games like that, if we score early against Newcastle, their playing game goes out the window and we win comfortably. But again, it's about taking those chances because, there are reasons why Newcastle, for me, have got the best defensive record in the league. And the reason why it's not because, the back four is solid. It's because they work off the ball. They work their nuts off. Every player worked their nuts off. Closing down, getting in people's faces, making tackles, committing professional fouls, going down, holding their legs and having a little bit of a stretch. That's big boy football, mate. And that's something that, we were seeing a bit of what some of our players was in it last season. Lacazette was famous for going down and wasting a bit of time or playing for free kicks. Gabriel Magalhaes is great at that. Our players do it as well. So, and you've got to remember that is big boy foot. That is the big game football. And I think that's what we need to look at. The fact is, any neutral watching that wouldn't begrudge Newcastle point. And I think as football fans, as Arsenal fans, we're gutted, we're disappointed. We think the referee might have given like I said, a penalty, a shirt pull. Newcastle wanted something similar for Dan Byrne when he was taking that. So it evens itself out, Lee.
Well, listen, it evens itself out because against Crystal Palace at the start of the season, Kenny, Gabriel Magalhaes, who I thought was unbelievable today. Yeah, he had a handball in that game. Liverpool, he had a handball as well. So it does even itself out. Yeah. The thing is, with Newcastle, for me personally, I think that they gave us no respect whatsoever in that first 15, 20 minutes. As soon as they realise, oh my God, we're getting carved open left, right and centre here, it's okay, they haven't scored, we've got away with one here, retreat, and let's just get out of it without losing. Yeah, that's how I see it. What do you think? Because we were carving chances left, right and centre in that first 20 minutes.
Yeah, but that's the thing. We did create a chance, but that was when we were opening up. That's when Martinelli was getting play, getting in behind Trippier. And the same with Saka, when Saka was getting in behind. And Odegaard was taking positions on the right-hand side, and it made Newcastle very difficult. But they weathered the storm, and I think that's the thing with teams like that, Newcastle. You weather the first 15 minutes, and then you get into, like I said, into the game plan, and that's what's happened. We had to score in that first 15 minutes. It was really critical. We kind of knew that even we're not saying that in hindsight. We're saying it as a fact because, you know, if you look at what we did on Saturday, we scored early. Game plan, Brighton game plan's over. They're all over the place. I think that's what we felt doing against Newcastle. We fought to get them all over the place. And then, you know, we have to say that Martinelli got marked out of the game. You know, Joe Linton worked his nuts off. He supported Trippier. No, not in terms of Martinelli. No, it wasn't. It was Almiron. Sorry, Almiron was very supportive towards Trippier in terms of like he sacrificed his attacking game and doubled up. And then when Almiron got tired and when he got booked, they got Jacob Murphy to do the same thing. So what's happening is that it was Martinelli couldn't get tight on Trippier. Trippier had the protection, and that's where. I mean.
I'm glad you brought that up because I thought both of our wingers tonight were poor, right? But especially Martinelli. And I want to bring this up. I just want your thoughts on it, yeah? Would you have started Tierney or brought Tierney on for Zinchenko in that game at any point? Because I know he likes to play Zinchenko more in field like a midfielder so you can overload and cause a press. But we weren't getting no joy down that side. Trippier is a good player.
Exactly.
We weren't getting a lot of joy at all. Yeah, but we didn't kind of mix that up. It was very sideways, and every time Zinchenko got the ball, he wasn't overlapping. He was coming in. What did you make of that? Would you have?
It's a good sort of.
What?
Well, the problem is that last 20 minutes when Newcastle took off Wilson and Almiron, they brought on Wood, no pace.
Yeah,
could hold the ball up. They brought on Jacob Murphy, who's a hard worker. He's got a bit of pace. So what's happening right now is that the game plan is that Newcastle ain't going to go the other way, as they probably would have done if Almiron's on the side. So it was a case where we were always going to be the front foot. They were always going to have men behind the ball. And then Zinchenko's a better passer of the ball than Kieran Tierney. He's more effective. There were even times when he was trying to get past that back four and get past that press, but the final ball lost its tackles, lost its clearances, and that's what's happened. So in that respect, you couldn't have said that. And if you look at it from the beginning of the game, I can understand. But if Tierney comes and puts those crosses in, Share, Dan Burn, they're winning them all day.
So then maybe
so it's one of those
you
things
get
where
a ricochet here, you get a ricochet there, it bounces.
Yeah,
to Saka
definitely.
Because me and Ollie
a lot of luck.
No, go on, mate. Go on.
No. What I'm trying to say, a lot of luck went Newcastle's way. You know, it's hard work. You know, they didn't win this by accident. You know, if a Newcastle player misses a cross, then there's one person behind them to get the second ball. So there's even the second balls they're winning, especially in this penalty area. So it said that we didn't have a clear shot. The only clear chance we really had was with Eddie in like sort of around the 85th minute, and that was it.
Yeah.
That was it.
And he should have buried that as well. This is why me and Ola were sat on the watching on. We were shocked that we only made one sub in that game. When you've got Marquinhos on the bench, he obviously clearly doesn't rate him or trust him enough to start or put him in, sorry. And you've got Fabio Vieira, who we've paid good money for him. Let's not forget that, right? And he played very well in them little warm-up games as well before the season started again. It's not even bring him on, Kenny, when you're at home. I can understand away from home, you don't want to lose the game, right? But it was almost like he had that mindset at home. Let's not lose. But like you said, when you've got players on the pitch going that way, just throw everything at it, man.
Well, I fully agree with you because as I can't emphasise how strongly it looked to me that the fact is that Newcastle were working us out. Odegaard had to take up different positions in order to try and create something. And every time he was blocked, so maybe we could have done something a bit different. You know, Odegaard and even though Odegaard and Vieira playing that same position, they're different kind of players. Vieira might have given us something different, but the fact is that Odegaard has earned the right to actually finish the 90 minutes of his performances on Boxing Day and his performances this Saturday. So it's one of those things where if you are going to win and break down Newcastle's side, your three best players are Partey, Saka, and Odegaard.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's a difficult. It could have made a change again in terms of like tactically. Newcastle kind of helped Mikel by not bringing Tierney on, but I do get the understanding is that we went a bit defensive when we took off Benjamin White and brought on Tomiyasu.
So I couldn't get that.
I mean, that was
but there was a lot of people in my chat saying that he was cramping up and he was blowing. He played very well tonight, but yeah, I think I think that was a weird one, but it is what it is. But listen, mate,
Mm.
get home safe. It was a good spectacle for you anyway. You like with your tactics and watching defenses.
Oh, you know me. I love
You loved
defending.
it.
You know what's happened. One of the biggest eyesores for me is poor defending. I hate poor defending. You know me. I can't stand poor. You can't defend. Don't talk to me. I love
Maybe
attacking.
don't watch the
football,
highlights of the Everton game. Then they got pumped 4-0 by Brighton.
I have serious concern for Big Frank at Everton. I'm really concerned for his future. But the fact is that he may have a reprieve because he got a point at the Etihad, so he might get a reprieve. But you know, reprieves in football, they last as long as someone having a bath.
Exactly.
And, you know,
Listen, get home safe, mate. Don't worry about player ratings. Get home safe. I know there's tube strikes, train strikes, all of that lot as well. Get home safe. Love you, mate. Take care.